When you see drop red, you can easily tell that the game in front of you is associated with luck, repetition, grinding, and you'll be spending a lot of time or money to become stronger. Yes, Granblue Fantasy is one of the cases. A lot of players didn't realize that drop rate is a concept to increase players' involvement in a game. It helps to determine the reality and the value of a virtual item, and it also indirectly affects the meta and the economy within a game. In this video, I'm going to show you the mechanism of drop rate in Granblue Fantasy, how to improve drop rate, the effect of treasure hunt, and a few unanswered questions we always come across. Stay tuned. Hi guys, this is Koon. I would like to ask you a question before we move on. Do you know the maximum number of chests we can get in a raid? 4, 5 or 6? The correct answer is 8, including rigged chests for host and MVP. In contradiction to common belief, drop rate only affects the number of chests, and it doesn't affect the quality or internal rate of a chest. Each chest in Granblue Fantasy has its own unique list of loots, and your final loot is decided by the internal rate. All these lists are fixed, so you wouldn't be getting anything which is not in the list. The items inside a rare or uncommon chest is usually more valuable, so we always leech and we try our best to increase the drop rate, hoping for these chests to drop. The system of Granblue Fantasy basically rolls twice to decide what you get when you join the raid. In the first roll, the system will decide whether the chest drops, which means how many chests you'll be getting at the end of the raid. In the second roll, the system will go through the loot list of each chest and choose which item to drop based on the internal rate. Rigged chest for host and MVP is guaranteed 100%, but we have no idea yet whether drop rate affects the chance of vice MVPs who come second or third to receive a rigged chest. So how do we improve drop rate? Let's take a look at this table. As you can see, we have several ways to improve drop rate. So the first thing is weapon. We have Oliver, Section Burner, etc. All these weapons give us a small bonus to drop rate. I personally prefer Oliver because it increases the chance to cast bounty and it's very easy to get. All Olivers, as long as you have brought it to SSR, it will give you a 5% bonus to drop rate, regardless the stage of limit break. About Damascus knife, we have different conclusions from Japanese wiki and Granblue Fantasy English wiki. The former says the drop rate bonus is around 10%, while the later says the bonus is around 5%. Maybe they use different statistics for calculation, but it doesn't matter. At least we know that the bonus is around there, 5 to 10%. And then we have 10 or Acer. I strongly recommend those who haven't gotten the keyword character to make 10 their first keyword character. It is not that 10 is super strong or invincible, no, it's simply because that she's vital for farming. Whether you're level 50 or level 500 is the same story. Granblue Fantasy is all about grinding and farming, so 10 is your best companion when you're trying to improve your weapon grid. So where should we put 10 in order for her to give us the drop rate bonus? Well, as long as she's in the team, no matter man or sub-team, dead or alive, you will receive a bonus of 5 to 10%, depends on the stage of limit break. Alright, let's move on to summons. First, we have white and black rabbits. They were once very difficult to get, and then we also have Kaguya, which was once useless and now the mainstream of Granblue Fantasy. The only question for this summon is whether their effects stick. Yes, they do. If you're using 2 white rabbits, you get a 30% bonus. If you're using 1 white rabbit and 1 Kaguya, you get a 40% bonus. If you're using 2 fully limit break Kaguyas, you get a 50% bonus. but the resurrection effect does not stack. Next on the list we have Bounty, one of the most important debuffs in Grand Fantasy. Level 1 Bounty provides us 20% drop rate bonus. Level 4 is 25%, while level 9 is around 50 to 52% according to Wiki. You might want to consider Oliver and 10 if you want to get Bounty to level 9, because it is more difficult for players to cast Bounty successfully as its level goes higher. Last but not least, we have Journey Drop and Weather Van. They provide 10% and 20% bonuses respectively, which are very useful. And one more thing I would like to highlight. We have to understand that drop rate is multiplicative instead of additive in Grand Fantasy. If we look at the drop rate formula provided by Grand Fantasy Wiki, it goes like this. We put all the figures on our hands into this formula. The highest drop rate multiplier would be 3.267. This means if the base drop rate of an item is 1%, the boosted rate would be 3.267%. Having a higher multiplier will definitely bring a noticeable impact to your farming results, but it doesn't mean you should use your leech team every time when you join a raid, because the quality of raid chests is still very promising compared with other chests. So if you are confident to get to the top 3, you should always go all out and fight instead of leeching. I will try to see whether I could talk about how to leech responsibly in future. Alright, I'm not kidding, this is very serious and important stuff. If you still haven't subscribed to my channel, now is a great time to do so. Give me a thumbs up if you think this video is helpful, and remember to share it with your friends. Know yourself, know game, and play like a pro. This is Koon. I will see you next time. Bye.